Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at the reverse parallel park manoeuvre for C-Class applicants in New South Wales. On the driving test, the learner will be asked to do a number of manoeuvres that will be selected from the following: a curbside stop, a hill start, a three-point turn, parking, reverse parallel, 90-degree or 45-degree, front or rear to curb, type depending on local availability. During the manoeuvres, the learner will be assessed on their ability to position the vehicle legally, safely, and accurately. Instructional tips for trainers. Keep it simple and focus on what matters. With fewer distractions, choices, and clutter, we'll go from A to B more efficiently. Be concise. This means to give a lot of information clearly, but in as few words as possible. And be clear. To be clear means the instructor doesn't complicate the message. Break the information down into bite-sized pieces. Don't try to achieve too much too soon. Be patient. Progress at the rate the learner can manage. Driver setup. It's vital that the driver is correctly set up in the cabin drill before proceeding with the maneuvers. This includes the seat, steering and seat belt, and the driver needs to have bent arms and bent legs. This is to maximize vision, maneuverability, and comfort. Make sure the learner's mirrors are correctly set up. Observation and scanning tips for trainers. Before commencing, the learner must conduct a 6-point check. All clear? If so, proceed with the maneuver. The learner must check for other vehicles, pedestrians, and possible hazards. The learner must turn their head and check their blind spot before they move to the curb to commence the maneuver, leave the curb to rejoin the traffic, steer if during reversing the front of their vehicle will swing into the lane. The learner must use their peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is a part of the vision that occurs outside the very center of gaze. The learner must keep their eyes on the move. Reversing tips for trainers. While reversing, the learner must check in the direction of travel. This includes checking the mirrors and through the rear and side windows. The learner may use reversing cameras and sensors to aid reversing. However, the learner must also check their mirrors and the area around the vehicle. If the vehicle has a park assist device, this must be switched off for the reversing maneuvers. Park assist is an automated parking aid that helps drivers park with greater precision using guidance system technology. Park assist uses parking sensors fitted to the front, back, and sides of the car, which detect spaces and obstacles. Parking tips for trainers. In relation to any parking relating to maneuvers, you must park close and as near as practical to the curb. The test requires you to be parallel and closer than 500 millimeters to the curb. The wheels must not touch the curb. In relation to any parking, stay at least 1 meter away from other vehicles. The test requires you to be no more than 2 meters from other vehicles when you park. Choosing a safe and legal place to conduct the maneuver. This would be considered an unsafe place to conduct the reverse park maneuver. The reason: it's too close to the driveway on the left and it's on a bend. There is restricted vision up ahead. This is also an unsafe location to perform a reverse parallel park. It's too close to the corner and there's a truck parked in the top right of the picture with an excavator operating in a work site. This is also an unsafe location for a reverse parallel park. It's too close to the corner with poor vision and is quite dangerous. This is also an unsafe location for the reverse parallel park because this is a very narrow road with a school and a pedestrian crossing and it gets very busy. Be wary of gutters and drains when choosing your location for the reverse parallel park. Tips for trainers executing the reverse parallel park. As you approach the target vehicle, have a close look at where it is parked. Some students misjudge their reference point as a result and end up hitting the curb. Use mirror indicator blind spot on the approach to the target vehicle. Park next to the target vehicle and cancel the indicator. You should be approximately 1 meter away from the target vehicle and keep your scanning of the road environment active. Keep your right foot on the brake, push the clutch in and with your left foot and select reverse gear. Use either the hand over hand or pull push steering technique. You need to be able to look out the back window as well as other key vision points. Stop and give way if you see a hazard, e.g. a car approaching. There are many teaching techniques used in relation to the reverse parallel park. Reference point option 1. Car X's left wing mirror lines up with car Z's B pillar as shown by the red line. Reference point option number 2. Car X's rear axle lines up with the back of car Z. Reference point option 3. Car X's front window lines up with car Z's back window. Reference point option 4. The driver of car X looks over their left shoulder and lines up the back driver's side brake light on car Z through a reference point, e.g. back quarter glass of car X, or halfway along the rear passenger window, depends on the type of vehicle. You must check your blind spot before the front of your vehicle swings into the lane beside you. While reversing, you must check in the direction of travel. This includes checking the mirrors and through the rear and side windows. 1. The driver of car X does a 360-degree scan, give way if necessary. If clear, reverse slowly, primarily scanning to the rear and quickly turning steering wheel to full lock to the left. Keep scanning whilst reversing to a 45-degree angle. Straighten the wheels and reverse back. 2. The driver of car X will notice the top of the curb disappear in the left wing mirror. Note, not blind spot mirror if fitted. At that point, the driver can turn the steering wheel to the right to bring the front of the car in towards the curb. Keep scanning and take it steady. Additional instructional tips. At the point where you're approximately 45 degrees, as on the diagram, steer to the right until your wheels are straight. If you gave one full turn to the left, then one full turn to the right will straighten the wheels. Reverse back in a straight line very slowly and turn briskly to the right before hitting the curb until the car is straight. When your car is almost parallel to the curb, then steer to the left to straighten the wheels. Ensure observations are made if moves are needed to park. Some students worry about hitting the parked car with the front left of car X. A reference point they can use is to ensure the left wing mirror of car X is behind the back of car Z before turning the wheel to the right to bring the front of car X in towards the curb. There's a diagram demonstrating that. Reverse only as far as you need. If you reverse more than 7 meters back from the rear of the vehicle you are parking behind, you will fail. Use the left mirror as well as looking at the back and to the driver's left to line up the vehicle with the curb. Reverse only as far as you need. If you reverse more than 7 meters back from the rear of the vehicle you are parking behind, you will fail. I think that seems like an important point. Notice finishing within 50 centimeters of the curb and finishing within 7 meters from the car in front. The test allows a maximum of 4 direction changes for all parking maneuvers. The applicant must drive off after completing the maneuver using a maximum of 1 change of direction, that is, 1 reverse movement if required. Signal for at least 5 seconds before leaving the curb or a parked position. Now, what we need to consider is, for this maneuver, some people fail because of the following. So just go through the dot points and see what some of those are. Disobeying traffic signs, signals, or road markings. Failing to give way when necessary. Colliding with a vehicle, pedestrian, or object. Performing an illegal act or maneuver. Exceeding the speed limit. Action requiring testing officer intervention. Causing a dangerous situation. Failing to maintain proper control of the vehicle. Failing to exercise due care to avoid an accident. Failing to give way to an emergency vehicle. Disobeying directions from a person controlling traffic. Frequently not signaling intention. Refusing to attempt any part of the test. Repeated or deliberate failure to follow directions. Unreasonably obstructing other vehicles or pedestrians. Receiving external advice or instruction during the test. Not parking to the required standard. Failing to maintain a safe following distance. Frequently not performing observation checks. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.